right, we're starting. But first, we need a. Do you have like a theme song on your mind, or should we just play that?
Our song,
the one that we just did right now. Yeah, our song, the one that we legally own. Should use that song. Where did I just put it right now?
Oh my god, you're fucking up the video, bro.
Well, at least
you have it ready, brother.
At least we have a video. No, because some people they don't even know how to. They don't even know how to make a video.
Yo, shout out to my producer, bro. That's what I refer to you as. Whenever they're like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? I'm like, man, I'm with my producer and shit. So, like, it makes it sound like we're a lot bigger than what we actually are. But recently, yeah, I mean, we kind of do what we kind of do. And it's crazy because, like, we've been doing pretty good on the channel. Pretty decently. So, all praise due to Allah. Alhamdulillah, all praise due to Allah. So, I don't know how else to start this video, but if you want to take it.
Welcome to episode 13 of the Black Truth podcast, starring Nick Myra and Franklin K. Side, which is me. This is the podcast where we talk about. I don't know what else to talk about. Or we know what to talk about. We don't know how else to describe what we do.
I mean, I think the best way I could describe the show is basically the show started with us talking about truths that we believe are obviously true, but we do go off on have episodes where we just talk about random shit, right? Stuff going on in the news, stuff going on in anything, stuff going on in fucking politics, you know what I mean? Stuff happening all over the world, because I mean they're all relevant to what's going on in our Black Truth, right? And when you think about it, it works in a roundabout kind of way because just because we can't analyze something instantaneously and make it into a Black Truth doesn't mean that it won't come back up in the future, right? Like I had one in the chamber that we never got to talk about on the podcast, which was not a truth itself, but rather something that was going on in the world, which was Andrew Tate getting investigated by the United States government.
Haram!
That guy. So basically, he was being interrogated by the United States government, basically trying to say that by Florida, right? By Chud DeSantis, right?
Did you say Chud DeSantis?
Yeah, I said Chud DeSantis. Oh my god, but but yeah, so that nigga, basically, make a long story short, I just wanted to throw this into the pod. Basically, he tried finding something on Andrew Tate that he doesn't have. Now I know Lila Rose might have something else to say about that because she did. She has this whole fucking interview with this girl that allegedly knows the girl that he allegedly sex trafficked. Right now, I think Lila Rose does make some pretty strong arguments for the pro-life movement. I wouldn't say that I'm staunchly pro-life, but I am.
Stop the cap.
I wouldn't say that I'm staunchly pro-life, but I understand. I do believe it's murder, right? And my whole thing is just I want liberals to admit that it's murder, but that's a whole different topic of conversation. But I do think she is controlled opposition, right? Because when she did a video with Trent Horn talking about anti-Semitism, right? And the whole comment section was just flaming her. Because obviously we know that the Jays are the ones, they're the ones, they're the ones that are behind most. We just got a soundboard, guys, and we're going crazy with it right now. But yeah, a lot of Jewish people put forth the abortion movement, and for you to just sit there and act like guys like what's his name, Nick Fuentes, are just that they're just anti-Semitic just for the sake of being anti-Semitic. It's kind of fucked up. You know what I mean? I feel like they're not being fair to people that question Israel, right?
I don't know. It seems like they just want to be like that group of people who shit on the cool kids. They just think that well,
that's because they're controlled. That's because they're controlled opposition.
Yeah,
and we know that because we're off the goop, and we're. I don't want to say we're on the fringe of society, but we understand it enough to where it's you know what I mean.
Anyway, so let's watch this video. I think this is the one you were talking about right here. Just a little real.
Some of the allegations that I've seen made against Jane Doe, your client, including by the Tates, is that she is attention seeking. She's trying to use this somehow for financial gain. What is your response to that?
So Jane Doe did not go public with her story. So she didn't go to the media, tell her story. She didn't make public accusations of the Tate brothers. She didn't even walk into a police station and file a report, which of course she would have a right to do if she believed a crime occurred. What happened was there was a raid. She was taken into custody and asked to cooperate, which was the right thing to do. They are suing her for defamation merely for her testimony to Romanian authorities.
Yeah, no, this is, I don't know.
Yeah, you know, I mean, look, okay, there is a chance that he could have done it. I mean, I would never, how do I say that? I wouldn't deny somebody of something that might have happened. I mean, I don't know. I question it a lot because, like I said, again, I do think Lila Rose does make good, not content, but she makes good, she does make good content, but I do think she has put forth, like, a lot of work within the pro-life movement. I just hate this whole, like, I'm sorry, but I know they don't identify as feminists or whatever, but I still think they have, like, that feminist, they still have that feminist, how do I say this? Mindset, yeah, where they still think that like women's opinion in the conservative world is important. Because I believe that if you are a conservative woman, you shouldn't even be involved in politics, right?
Well, yeah, but the problem is that we kind of do need, or like, at least the conservative movement, not us per se, but they need these people to exist to, like, convert. Like, I guess for some reason we need Amber Rose to exist.
Yeah.
And have, like, the Trump hat on at what's it called, at the RNC.
And then Mary Forgiato blow.
I wish that happened for real though.
Oh, it didn't happen?
No, it was fake.
Oh, it was fake. I thought it could have been real.
People no, and then in, like, the next post she was like, "Nah, that was just a joke." But I thought she was all maggoed up like that. Like, she was like, "Oh, I wanna." Nah. Well, it's
because she already went out with Wiz Khalifa. Now, Wiz Khalifa's like a cultural, like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Has been.
Yeah, he's a has-been, but I mean, he did influence the culture a lot. Black and Yellow, So What We Get Drunk, So What We Get High, Young, Free, and Wild, right? I mean, he's a staple. What's the word I'm looking for? I always know the words until we fucking start recording.
He's like an icon.
Yeah, he's a cultural icon, especially for potheads.
Yeah.
Literally. So, I think because she reached such a high with him, she can never do that with anybody else. Like, she already put her fingers in Kanye's ass. So
she also went out with 21 Savage, I think. So that's,
oh my god,
slut wall.
Dude, I forgot about that completely. Do you remember that? Remember, bro? This is how, like, OG fucking Jesse Lee Peterson is. Do you remember when he made the video of
Yeah, he was like, "Yo, went on the slut wall."
Yeah, he said that, I think she said something about, like, men being ran through. And he's like, no, men are the one doing the running. Men are slut makers, something like that.
Yeah,
because that nigga's been around since way back in the day. Because I remember he was on the they showed clips of that interview on Vine.
Oh shoot, really?
Yeah, that's fucking way back.
He's that old?
He's been on the internet.
I think he's one of the guys that he was, like, on the radio for, like, a long time.
Yeah, he's been on the internet for a while. There's an old, like, Telemundo clip of him and this one guy, the white dude who's bleeding out of his fucking face, and this fucking girl from Telemundo was like, "Oh, how do you feel about you don't like Mexican people?" And then Jesse Lee Peterson was like, "Hey, why did you talk to me? Why did you? I'm an American. You guys should not be coming in illegally."
Why your impression of him sounds like Cat Williams. I don't know why. It should be more like, "Hey, bro, why are you talking to me, man? Like, why? Like, what's wrong with me, man? Like, it's because of
you sound like Mr. Bombastic.
Because the father, everyone mother needs. The mother is the rule of all evil. You need to love your father. We all need to get back to our father, man." Oh no, he's good-hearted. Yeah, he's not Catholic or whatever, so we can't give him, like, the 100% cosign. He's kind of like Steven Anderson. Like, Steven Anderson, he does say some funny things here and there, but we can't really, like, cosign most of everything.
Yeah, because he's anti-Catholic and anti-Orthodox. He's staunchly anti-Catholic.
Because he got me in with, like, the
Jewish shit.
No, just like yelling and shit, like yelling at, like, gay people and all that stuff. Like, oh, this guy's entertainment. Then I started watching his channel. I think he was on YouTube. I don't know if he still is that right now, but he used to be on YouTube. And I got into that, and then I started seeing like all the other content he has, and it's just all like shitting on the Pope. And at the time, low-key, like I wasn't like staunchly like Catholic or whatever at this point. Obviously, I was like culturally Catholic, but I wasn't staunchly Catholic. They could have got me. They could have got me fucking reading the KJV. They almost got me to read the KJV. Not gonna lie, they almost would have got me at one point with all like the like, oh well, it's the Pope, and the other thing he said before, he said like Jesus didn't have like long hair, because he was like the long hair thing is like a psyop by like the Renaissance painters or whatever.
Well, I mean, there is some truth to that, because I guess during that time, like the Jewish people, not even Jewish people, the Israelite people, I'm not even should say that. Just the people of that area, they didn't wear their hair long, culturally speaking. I don't know. I mean, it could be like there's some truth to that, because like a lot of like Hebrew Israelites and shit, they always say like, oh, why is Jesus white? Why Jesus got long hair, right? And I mean, the truth of it is that the reason why we think of Jesus the way we do is because of the Renaissance paintings, and even a lot of Byzantine icons too.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean that's.
So do you think? Yeah. Man, that's all really matters. It doesn't matter what slant they had or whatever. Just like, dude.
I mean, I don't think the way Jesus looked really matters. I mean, from my own personal point of view, I think the issue is when you make it into something, right? Because I mean, in reality, it doesn't matter how he looked. It's like
you make it into a reason to like like say heresy or something like that.
Basically, yeah. Because like Dr. Umar, like, do you remember that video of Dr. Umar where he's praising Little Yachty because he had
Yeah, he had like the black Jesus underneath the white Jesus.
Yeah. Basically, he had that, but it's like, I mean, does Dr. Umar buy into the whole Hebrew Israelite thing or no?
No, he said, well, I don't. You know, he's like anti like Arab, right?
Yeah, I know.
So he doesn't like the or like what's it the Muslims?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't like the Nation of Islam, or he like respects them, because I'm pretty sure if he talked trash about them, they would kill him. But
he probably shares the same feelings with like the Hebrew Israelites, where he respects them for being pro-black, but he doesn't necessarily agree with them being Jews.
Well, he thinks that the roots to blackness is like in Africa, but he thinks. I'm not trying to put words in the mouth. He can come on the show whenever he feels like it. But he thinks that,
bruh.
He thinks that the problem is like all like the black cultures or all like the black subcultures, they like LARP as another culture. So you could say like the Protestant, like the black Protestants, they try to LARP as, you know, WASPs, or like the Nation of Islam. They try to like LARP. Oh, they try to LARP as whites too, but they LARP as Muslims. Or
you know, it's actually funny that you mentioned that, because I feel like blacks were actually Catholic or Orthodox before they came to America via slavery and through the Islamic conquest. They were Catholic or Orthodox. That's a deep cut. That's a really fucking deep cut that people don't even know about.
That's crazy. And that's funny because, you know, I feel the whole reason why all those different other than like the Protestant blacks or the Baptists, what do you want to call them, I feel like the only reason those other subcultures exist is because they don't want to, like self-consciously, they feel like they don't want to pray to like a white person. Well,
again, because the way they look at it is like they're praying to a white person. But see, I think they don't have like the foresight, and they don't have like the reasoning to understand that it's just a fucking Renaissance painting. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, because Ethiopian icons of Jesus have existed for eons, right? So, Ethiopian Orthodox, they're part of this wider umbrella of Oriental Orthodox that were part of the Apostolic Church that was started obviously by Jesus Christ through his disciples. But yeah, they could trace their roots all the way back to the disciples, but they've always depicted Jesus as being black. And China was almost completely Christian at one point. So, do you remember the church that Bishop Maramari belongs to? They're called the Assyrian Church of the East.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's who George Janko also fucking belonged to. I want to talk about that too. Sorry,
I can pull some clips. You want to hold it real quick?
Yeah. I want to talk about that podcast he did with Voice of Reason too. I should have told you that off, before we started recording. But yeah, the Chinese also depicted Jesus as being Chinese. And then the Virgin Mary, like, can you look up actually? Just I want you to be able to see it. Can you look at look up icons or Chinese icons of Jesus? Yeah, just go to what is it? Google Images.
Something like that.
Go to Google for me. Look up Chinese icons of Jesus.
I can never figure out how to spell Chinese right.
Apparently, you don't know how to spell Jesus either.
No, I do. I like how the third one just straight up just Japanese.
Is that one Japanese?
But this is fake. This is like some.
Oh, that might be some newer one.
This is like some Etsy bullshit.
Yeah, but I think those ones do trace back to ancient Japan, or I'm sorry, China. Even Japan was completely Christian at one point. Until what's the name of their religion?
Wasn't it because of I heard someone say it was after they got bombed, like they lost a lot of Catholics.
Well, they were also Christian. They were primarily Catholic actually before Imperial Japan kicked them all out. So like Silence, like that movie is actually based on the story itself is not real, but it's based off of a real event in history. Yeah, because they kicked out all the Catholics, and then was it Nagasaki?
The first one was Hiroshima, I think.
Yeah, so Nagasaki is where all the Japanese Catholics live. So when they bombed Nagasaki, they basically wiped out whatever was left, because they were all killed off during that movie Silence, right? But whatever was left, and obviously they started growing after some time because Jesus is the way, the way, the truth, the light, all that, right? But after that happened, they got wiped off the face of the earth again because of the Americans blowing them up.
Well, I heard that there's the reason why there's not a total it's not still totally embraced in Japan, again, is because they kind of consider if you accept one of the Abrahamic religions, you're gonna bring the other ones, and they don't. I think the one they really fear is Judaism. Mm-hmm. So they believe that if you accept Christianity, you're gonna somehow become tolerant to Judaism, because with the Protestants, the Protestants and Judaism, they go hand in hand. So they're we don't want any of that. They want to, but in the movie and Silence, it's kind of treated like they didn't want any sort of they don't want any, from what I understand, intervention. They don't want any sort of intervention. Yeah, because Catholicism was considered intervention.
Exactly, because they saw what had happened in the Americas and what had happened in Africa, and they were like, oh shit, we don't want none of that happening over here.
They weren't even trying to say oh, well, we're what's it called, a Shinto place or whatever. They were just no, we don't want your stuff here because it's not Oriental.
Basically, basically that's really what it was. I will give them some credit, but yeah, because I don't want to go off the goop, but I think had Catholicism or Christianity, any form of Christianity, became the dominant religion of Japan, they would have been zogged up.
Yeah, and that's the only thing they really have going for them, is that they're not. Well, I don't know if you would say
Christianity is making a comeback in Asia, even in the Middle East too. I think pretty soon, this is kind of a blue pill and a black pill and a red pill all at the same time. I do think that Christianity is going to make a big resurgence. Because remember, I believe in the Bible it says that the whole entire world will become Christian before it ends. Because then there's going to be an antichrist, right, who can perform all these miracles that all these dumbass Christians can't do. And all these people are going to be like, wow, look at that guy. Probably fucking Elon Musk.
Well,
I think Elon Musk is the closest we'll get to the Antichrist.
Well, I think we're gonna get closer because of George Janko. Speaking of him, there's this video you want to watch, or you want to look at the clips. I'm just gonna go through some of the highlights, but there's a part that you remember seeing, or just
Did you see that video I sent you earlier or no?
No, I didn't see that. So you want to see this one?
No, he doesn't have any. I don't think he has any clips yet from the podcast. Oh, there you go. It might be right.
This one right here.
No, go down, right there.
This one?
Yeah.
All right, click this one. Or hold that.
Let's get into the
man.
deep conversation, the
Yeah.
Eucharist. My whole life, I would look at this body and blood of Christ, and I would say, this makes sense that it is his body and it is his blood. Now, reading the scripture, I grew up in a church where they taught me this, and then I grew up and I started asking questions and sitting down with theologians, people that break down the gospel in Hebrew and Aramaic and Greek, college professors. Mind you, I'm not saying that they're right? Because you could know the gospel from cover to cover and not act appropriately. So I'm not claiming that they know everything. If the devil showed up right here, he would outweigh us in the gospel.
He would know scripture better than us.
So I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying, as I'm weighing out and I'm testing the fruits and I'm eating the fruits and I'm playing with this, from my perspective, it looks like it's a very, very high and holy thing that we should take very seriously on the account of respecting it. Let me give you an example before we speak. The whole like tiny little cookie in the juice cup, I don't get down with that. I think there should be more reverence to it. The way the Catholic Church
So
of the East...
I saw the entire interview. So basically what he's trying to say is this. So in Protestant theology, right, there's like three different ways of looking at of looking at the Eucharist, right? So the way most Protestants look at the Eucharist is, the traditional view is this: when Martin Luther genuinely believed that the Eucharist was the blood and body of Christ, right? 'Cause that's what Catholics believe, right? We believe that through the process of transubstantiation, that it literally becomes the flesh and blood of Christ, but remains in its same form, right? This goes back to like the Metaphysics by Aristotle, but Thomas Aquinas Christianized that philosophy, right? Where essence can change form, basically, right? Because we even see that through the Trinity, right? Jesus is the Son, the man, right, that we seen on earth. The Spirit is the essence of God that we get through baptism, and then God the Father is the everything, right? Is the all, right? Now, the way John Calvin looked at the Eucharist is that the Eucharist does not physically become the blood and flesh of Jesus Christ, but rather it becomes that Christ is present during the Eucharist, but it does not literally become blood and the flesh. Now, it's funny because science can actually back up the claims of the Eucharist, right? That's what makes it so interesting.
So why do you think he's like spazzing out about this?
Because because he subscribes to the view that I just told you right now. The last view is that don't quote me on this. This is like an American evangelical way of looking at the Eucharist. They look at the Eucharist as just like, oh, we remember it because Jesus told you, right? Yeah. Jesus said in the Bible. Well, Jesus literally said, "This is my blood. This is my body," right? But that's a different thing, right? George Janko basically just believes that Jesus is present, but the wine and the bread or wafer does not literally become flesh and blood. That's what he subscribes to. And when he was doing that podcast with the Christian Avengers, when he said that the Eucharist was just dirt, that he said that he misspoke. But how do I say this? He said basically he misspoke and that he didn't mean for it to come off that bad. But I think Protestants, again, because they look at Christianity through their own worldview, which is like American evangelicalism, and they you can't communicate any kind of Catholic theology to them, not even Orthodox sometimes, because it goes completely over their head. Because
is it because they, like, for this one I understand so far, so he wants his vision to be like tailor-made to make him and people like him understand it, but he doesn't understand like Catholicism is universal and Orthodoxy and some levels universal, and that's like what's tripping him up.
No, I think he just doesn't understand theology. I think he has like a very simplistic view of the Bible. Now, Jesus does say that you need to have childlike faith, because there's one thing I do want to like go on a little bit to tangent, because it's fucked with me a lot, right? When you start studying theology, whether it's Protestantism, Catholicism, or Orthodoxy, it's gonna fuck you up. Because right now, I feel like I'm kind of at that point right now where it's like I don't know what to believe, just because I'm very like intuitive. I'm very like I want to know everything. So when I hear all these different theologians from the biggest denominations of Christianity, it's like, damn, I don't know what to believe. Because Protestants do make good arguments against Catholicism if you understand true Protestantism, like the stuff that Redeemed Zoomer talks about, right? If you understand what he's talking about, then it makes sense. Same thing with Catholicism, same thing with Orthodoxy. But again, the type of Christianity that he sells to the world is what I said before, fast food Christianity, which basically is that it's all emotion, no logic, no they don't understand deeper theories, is what I'm trying to say. They just want to read their Bible, interpret it however which way they want to, and their understanding of the scriptures is authoritative because they think it is, right? You know what I mean? Basically, fast food Christianity. There you go. That's why I hate fast food Christianity. I mean, there's a lot of things about Christianity that I kind of like struggle with. I mean, I don't want to get into that on this episode, but there's a lot of things that I struggle with. Again, because I made the mistake of trying to like get deep into theology when you should have childlike faith, and he does have childlike faith, but because I do think he genuinely believes, but I think his issue is he's all emotion. Because even Sam Shamoon said that in the Sam Shamoon mentioned that in his video about George Janko. So I mean, it's cool that he had Voice of Reason on. I mean, do you want to check how many views it got right now? His fans are probably like, I don't want to listen to real theology. I want to cry about my fucking pastor trying to have sex with me. I want to cry.
And when I look at you, brother, I really...
30K views.
No mames.
40K views.
Look at Christian Avengers.
Is that on this channel?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's right there.
A million, yes.
A million views. I honestly don't think that the George Janko one... I don't think that the Voice of Reason one's going to ever get that many views. Because his fans don't give a shit about listening to actual theology. Me personally, and I'm not trying to like brag about myself or anything, but I love hearing like Protestants or Orthodox explain. Look at that. If that doesn't tell you controlled opposition, I don't know.
This is the one where I was distracted. I was like, why is he having Ari Shafir on it? Like, if anything, he's probably like a secular Jew.
Literally. But no, yeah.
It's funny because he's probably doing the same thing we do, where like half of the time we talk about like just like random stuff, and then randomly he's like, oh no, we're talking about Christianity. Like, how many is this? Do you know this guy?
No.
Do you know this guy?
Who's he? Stop. No.
This guy, I think he's a comedian.
Yeah, I know who he is.
So it's almost like every 5 episodes he does like a...
Yeah, I know that other guy right there on the corner. Yeah, he's a comedian too. But again, like I said, he makes his whole like...
Ben Carson. Sorry.
Fucking Ben Carson. But no, yeah, like the type of content that he makes and the type of content that he makes is like neocon and fast food Christianity. See that guy next to the
guy?
Yeah. Next to the wizard guy, the Asian. Yeah, he's another like pastor.
Ex-gang member.
Yeah, where they make videos about Christianity that's just based on fucking feelings and crying and having all these emotional highs. Right now, the problem with that is that, dude, like, how many times have we gone to church and it's just boring? Like, from a worldly perspective.
I don't want to say they are, but...
I mean, let's just be honest. Like, from a worldly point of view, some of them are just boring, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but that's kind of the point, where church is not always going to be fun and full of music and bright lights and cookies with the grape juice. Like, no. It's worship. You're not there for yourself. You're not there to go cry. You're not there to go get entertained. Yeah, there's some good ass homilies, right? Because there are very charismatic priests, which I do think priests should be a little bit charismatic. But yeah, dude, just looking through his content and stuff, it's all just emotional. It's just made for clips and crying for like an hour about whatever bullshit they want to cry about.
He's cried. Has he cried on?
Yeah, he's cried. That's why I say that. He's cried a bunch of times.
Not one like he interviewed Bobby Lee.
No.
Alright, let me George Janko cried.
Maybe he's only cried
And you told me a verse that, like, Cliff had saved my life. Like, I can't even tell you how many times.
You know who who I thought he looked like when I first saw him?
What?
Like when he was on Impulsive, I thought he looked like Zac Efron for some reason.
Well, play this.
I can't even tell you how many times, like, I wouldn't even want to open up my Bible because I feel like I'm the Pharisee. Like, I'm the guy that when God sees, he's like, yo, you love me with your lips, but you're so far away from me with your heart. How can I explain to...
I don't want to shit on him for that one.
No, I do want to shit on him for that because, nigga, you grew up fucking rich. You know that, right?
No, I didn't know that.
You grew up fucking rich, my guy. Do you think I give a fuck about what you have to say or what you have to cry about? Bro, there's paraplegics. There's amputees. There's fucking Asians and Middle Eastern people that have lost fucking family members for being Christian. And you're going to sit up here and cry because you used to smoke weed?
Oh. He used to smoke weed and he used to drink Prime, and so it's like...
Shit, I would be crying myself.
And now he's sponsored by Celsius. That's kind of crazy.
But no, yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, I hate this fucking fast food.
Imagine you're like a fast food Christian and you like die from a heart attack from drinking too much Celsius.
But no, yeah, like I said, you know, I hate this like genre of Christianity because even a lot of Catholics like Lila Rose or Lila Rose, they kind of like they love making this like they like clip farming. You know what I mean? Like like just making content where they're like getting emotional and trying to just play at people's heartstrings. And yeah, it does work. It does work. Because the first time I saw that clip of him crying, I'm like, wow, this guy really loves the Lord. But then it's like, and he probably really does. But it's like, how can I take you fucking serious, dude? Like, why don't you just, what's the word? Give up all your money and become a priest or something like that. If you're really that serious. I mean, have you seen, like, Middle Eastern Christians and shit? Like, why doesn't he show all the fucking Syrian Christians that were being fucking crucified and slaughtered? Why doesn't he talk about the Armenian genocide? They crucified women butt-ass fucking naked and took a picture for the world to see. Why doesn't he talk about that? Because the people that are paying him don't want him to talk about that. Oof. Got him. Got him good.
Celsius.
That's why I think he's a fucking psyop. I think most Christianity that we get, especially like mainstream, I don't care if it's Catholicism, Protestantism, non-denominational, even if it's liberal heresy, if it's promoted, it's a psyop. Look at like The Chosen. The Chosen is just about fucking crying all the time. Literally. Yeah, you should have been on the soundboard the whole time. But yeah, dude, it's literally just about crying, clip farming, and trying to get people...
Clip farming a movie or a TV show?
Oh, yeah, yes. That's why I stopped watching The Chosen, because all it's about is just crying all the time. I'm not trying to cry.
I'm
not trying to cry. I ain't no pussy nigga.
Because, well, I don't know if this is like a tangent or whatever, but did you think Jesus ever showed like emotion?
Yeah, it says Jesus cried in the Bible.
But
I don't think Jesus was a crybaby either.
Because isn't the problem with The Chosen that they try to make him like jovial sometimes?
Yeah, they try to make him like jovial or like a crybaby.
Oh.
I think Jesus was probably like you never met Middle Eastern people, but like I think Jesus was just like I don't want to say Arab because they're not Arab, but people are stupid and they don't understand how Middle Eastern culture works. But when you think about these older like Middle Eastern Arab dads that are like very like stoic, like they'll cry, they love their kids, they love their community, they love their God, you know, whether they're Christian or Muslim. I think he was that type of guy. I don't think he was a crybaby. I don't think he was mean. I just think that he was just a follower of God, you know?
So you don't think that his personality had anything to do with like him being the son of God? You think it was just like...
I think Jesus was just a regular guy. I think he's just like a regular like dude.
So he just grew around like his environment. It's more like an environmental thing.
Yeah.
So if he came in like, I don't know, like 1920 or like not 1920, 1993 Brooklyn, you think he would be getting like chopped cheese or he'd be like rapping with Wu-Tang?
I don't think he'd be rapping with Wu-Tang because rap is degenerate. But
no, do a sidetrack. Which one do you think is more like satanic or degenerate, rock or rap?
Rock.
Okay, explain, elaborate.
Is it satanic?
Well, explain like why, like it's because to me it feels like rap is more violent, and if it's violent, it feels more.
I think. Well, I mean, there's a lot of metal. I mean, I'm not that involved in the world of rock and metal, but there is a lot of rock and metal that's about like killing people and shit.
But
I mean, there's a whole fucking band called Pentagram. Why the fuck do you think they're called Pentagram?
I just think it's because they're trying to be like, you know, artistic. Or whatever.
I mean, I think rap is satanic too, but I just don't think that it's. I think, yeah, they're just all satanic. I think they're equally satanic. I take that back.
I think it's weird because I think it's weird that Christians, they allow like Christian rap to exist. Because there's
Christian rock too. There's Christian heavy metal.
No, but the Christian heavy metal gets like more criticism, in my opinion, in certain circles. But like rap is kind of, I guess it's because it's the more modern take.
Well, rap got started from fucking Catholic nuns.
Yeah, so... But now the current incarnation is kind of treated like, oh, well, they're using modern music to attract the kids, so it's a good thing. But then there's still some like weird. Oh, I do understand it, but there's kind of like a selective outrage towards rock, and certain people. Like I've been seeing like rappers, they be saying like rock is satanic, and then in the same breath,
Burzum is fucking satanic.
And then in the same like breath, they'll be playing like Kanye, like Bully, and they'll be like, nah, this is fire, man. It's kind of like I do understand. Well, what I was trying to get you to say is that rock is more like satanic, like in its roots, while rap has been like subverted.
Yeah, I think rap was like a valid form of music or valid art form, and it got perverted by, you know, them boys. But rock, I think, was always satanic. Rock was always supposed to push the envelope or however the fuck that phrase goes.
Cause sometimes I feel like kind of boomering out, you know, listening to like Led Zeppelin and all that stuff. And I'm like, wow, the music's great, but then in the back of my head, I'm like, this is satanic. Like you can make the case for it being satanic.
I mean, I think Pink Floyd is satanic, but I think Satan moves different in different generations.
Like,
because like back then, like people were like doing heroin and Quaaludes when they would listen to Pink Floyd or Led Zeppelin, but then now they smoke weed and do perks when they hear rap music. Satan understands the culture of the time and he adapts to it. But yeah, you know that no, that's a real thing though. You know what I mean? Because I mean I know there are other topics you want to talk about on this episode, but yeah, do you want to end this topic real quick? Because I could just finish it off for you getting stuff that you want to talk about. Because I don't want to go on a whole tangent about Satan. Okay, fuck it. But yeah, I do think that I think Satan even... I'm going to say it. I think Satan even rides a lot of these waves of like the Christian stuff. Like the fast food Christianity stuff, right? Why? Because when you go to like Catholic Church, right? You're not being stimulated. There's no stimulation to be had when you're at a Catholic church. When you go to a Protestant church, non-denominational, what have you, you got all these lights, all these cameras, you know, people wearing, you know, the pastors, no homo, no diddy. A lot of them are good-looking guys, right? You know, the girls are all dressed like sluts, right? They're all dressed like sluts. We're all fucking, you know, haram. I was waiting for you to play the haram thing.
Wait, for what?
What were you gonna have me play? I said I want you to play
haram.
Yeah, because they're dressed like sluts at fucking church, right? Yeah, I mean it's so visually stimulating. You know, you're not supposed to be visually stimulated when you go to when you go to a church.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking about all the times when we used to go to church hopping. In the comments, you would tell me after church.
Well, yeah, because even in Catholic church, and a lot of Catholic churches, especially in like the cities, the girls would be dressed like fucking sluts. Like I feel like I'm at a strip club.
The married ones are the worst ones. It's like, how do you?
Literally.
But they always have some like excuse, like, oh, it's because I'm breastfeeding the kid.
That's why you're wearing leggings, because you're breastfeeding your kid.
I'm about to go to the gym. I just got back from the gym.
But yeah, dude, where it's like, no, you know what I mean? I think not dressing properly is a Catholic. I mean, I think there's a problem just in like America in general, but that is an issue that affects the Catholic Church, where you'll go to church and then you're getting in line to go take the Eucharist and you just see some ass. You know what I mean? Like, like I'm not trying to see some ass when I'm taking the Eucharist. I can't concentrate. I just see like two cheeks walking up and down the pews. Dong 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 dong. Like, god damn, brother, where we at?
Bruh.
We're having hella fun with the soundboard, but yeah, going back to the non-denominational Protestant churches, yeah, I do think that there is some value to be had with charismatic Christianity. Like, I do think that there's value in that, but that shouldn't be that shouldn't be what it stands on. And what happens is that when you're no longer being stimulated by all this emotion, crying all the time and just all this joy and all this adrenaline, you're gonna fall apart. Your faith is gonna fall apart. I mean, I think my faith has been shaken up a little bit recently, because I'm not being stimulated by George Janko anymore, but because I'm looking too deep into it, basically, which is an issue that I think people that want to come to Christianity or come back to Christianity, whether you want to be a Protestant, you want to be non-denominational, Catholic or Orthodox, don't try to become any of these denominations because you want to. I mean, not because you want to, but because you don't want to be woke or you don't want to be whatever, what have you. Just go into it being like, look, this makes the most sense to me. I'm not going to try to be authoritative, but this is what I believe, right? I think this is the truth. I hope God guides me to the truth, and that's what you should do.
How long do you think someone should take if they're like deciding? Well, let's say they believe in Christianity, but they're like, they don't know which part to go into.
I think it doesn't matter. I think you go where you think God wants to take you. If it's the Pentecostal church, non-denominational, Catholic, Greek Orthodox, Russian Orthodox, Byzantine Catholic, Presbyterian, Lutheran, those churches basically don't exist. There's very few Sedevacantists, but
Is there one in Chicago?
no, there's like one in the United States, maybe two. Mel Gibson is their bishop.
You see that one they were making fun of Sedevacantists priests? That one post.
Yeah,
I posted it.
yeah, but no, yeah, dude, like genuinely, like. You just gotta go where you think your heart's gonna take you. Just don't try to make that decision based off of Last Crusade, or not Last, but Crusade edits, or George Janko crying, Pastor Steven Anderson.
Making funny like clips and everything.
Yeah, or don't become Orthodox because they're non-woke, right? Go to the church that you think you belong to, and pray that that's the correct church. And if it's not, it's not. You could change at any point in your life. I would change.
What do you, what's his name? Not J.D. Vance. Oh my gosh, what's that one guy called? Jay Dyer? Jay Dyer, you don't know that dude?
I know who he is, but he never said...
He's changed like 100 times.
Are you fucking serious? He's Orthodox, though.
But he's changed like like several times.
Well, I mean...
Not recently, but he has like a history of like changing...
Well, I mean, I change my thoughts all the time, but I would never make the move of, like, becoming an Orthodox Christian or a Protestant. No, I'm serious. I would never do that because...
It's like you saying, like, I would never want to change myself into being Down syndrome.
No, but seriously, though, like...
I would never want to cut off my leg on purpose.
Well, no, it's not that. It's just, when you look at Protestant arguments for Christianity, I think they're a lot better than Orthodox. I think the only thing Orthodox have is just that they have apostolic succession.
I mean, they really took a hit when what's his name, Michael Lofton, wrote that book called Entering Orthodoxy.
No, I think one thing they got going for them is they're not zogged up. The Catholic Church is zogged up. It means they're controlled by Zionists. I don't care what anybody fucking says. How are you to denounce Freemasonry and not denounce Kabbalah? Kabbalah is like a big cornerstone of Freemasonry.
They have nice bracelets, I guess.
They got drip.
Yeah, like they just look nice, you know. There's like bracelets just look nice.
But no, yeah. I think we're done with this topic.
Bruh.
I don't know for done with anything at this point.
I mean, I know you wanted to bring up the JFK files. Speaking of Catholicism.
Oh yeah, shout out.
Because JFK was Catholic.
I heard they came out, but I don't know if anything really important came out.
Yeah, they said something about that because they were able to take him out, they were able to further the. They were basically.
Okay, so the idea is, this is what people have been saying for the longest time. They've been saying, okay, it's not actually one person or one group. It's a enclave, not a conclave, an enclave of several groups that wanted Kennedy
dead. Yeah, and they all basically worked together for it.
But the problem is that, well, from what I understand, is that there's one group that they failed to mention, in this whole thing, and can you continue talking because I'm gonna get the censored thing, like the censored bar or the censored noise effect.
Oh, okay.
Right now. Don't say anything too crazy right now. Actually, no, I'm gonna play this one. I'll play some of this video. Let's see.
JFK fought.
You know, I love a little Bill O'Reilly on the side. Didn't you have like a little personal history with Bill O'Reilly?
No, I don't.
Didn't you grow up like reading Bill O'Reilly?
No, I read I tried reading a couple of his books because there's a little Mexican girl. She was half Italian. Her dad was like a cop. He was very conservative, and he got her reading Bill O'Reilly. So I was like, oh, I want to see what this fucking girl has going on.
So you just took the book from her?
No, I just wanted to fit in with her. So I could get in her
Sorry,
pants.
last night, 63,400 pages.
This guy needs to retire.
But he's a fucking faggot.
Were released. And as I said on News Nation, really, I didn't think there were going to be any direct accusations or smoking gun, pardon the pun, about the assassination of John F. Kennedy. The best book ever is Killing Kennedy. I know I'm going to say that, but 2 million people bought it, and it's never been impeached. Everything we have in there is true. But there are some very interesting things that are coming out.
I need some like Tucker. I need some like Tucker. At least he's kind of zogged up too, but at least he has some energy.
I don't think Tucker Carlson's that zogged up.
He has a Kabbalah bracelet.
He does?
Hold up. I'm gonna play this.
You first wrote about.
This is like a month ago. Why isn't he talking about it? What the heck?
Because he doesn't want to get killed.
In one of the key docs.
This is a compilation. Oh my god! Like I'm trying to find the JFK files and I need like a short TikTok explain everything.
Okay, look.
I need like an Ian Carroll. I need you know Ian Carroll?
No.
You don't know Ian Carroll? Oh my god.
No, basically, in one of the files, they basically said something along the lines of they needed him dead to basically like further the Israel lobby.
This guy?
Oh yeah, I seen his interview with Joe Rogan. I just forgot his name.
People were saying it was funny how like on the same day they had Ian Carroll on Joe Rogan and they had Candace Owens on Theo Vaughn.
Yeah, right.
It was like a double whammy. Did he talk about it? Oh, maybe he's not talking about it on YouTube.
Maybe not yet, but basically they kind of confirmed that the Jays are behind it.
So am I gonna be able to find on YouTube?
No. You have to go to Twitter for that.
Okay, can you go off on the whole thing?
Okay, so basically that the whole reason why they killed him was to further like the Israel lobby that was going on in the that's been going on in the United States, and it started with the whole like Rothschild bill that it wasn't a Rothschild bill that the Rothschilds basically like not funded, but they basically there was this bill that was signed that was promoted by the whatever the fuck they're called, the Rothschilds, to basically like send money to Israel, right, or to whatever the fuck, right, to support the Jewish people or whatever. And this goes way back. I don't have everything gathered. I was gonna watch videos about that before we did this, but yeah, because Nick Fuentes has there's like a whole clip It's like a 10-minute clip on not even a video, on fucking Twitter, where he talks about this bill that they signed, I don't know when, to basically fund Israel and all that way back in the day. So the JFK files and the JFK conspiracy is part of a larger conspiracy, which is for the Zionist occupation of the United States. Basically. So because JFK was getting in the way of that through the CIA, because he was trying to take down the CIA, and I think they owed money to the mob too. Now, if you know anything about the mob, the Irish, the Italians, and the Jews were all working together.
Are you serious? I thought it was just Italians.
No, the
How come all the movies only focus on the Italian?
Well, because it's a psyop, right? It's a fucking psyop. They want you to think that the only people in the mob was just Italians. No. And some of them were just Italian presenting. Yeah. You know, it's kind of like when you see like a fucking when you see a guy in a Mexican gang that has blonde hair and blue eyes. He could be Mexican. Yeah. But maybe he's not. You know what I mean? But that's whatever. But basically it was like three different things, three different people trying to take out JFK all at once, and they were all working together. Now the mob might have had their own thing, and the CIA might have had their own thing, but basically it's culminated in the basically, like, it's the reason why we have everything going on today with the CIA and the Zionist occupation that we have in our government. Bro, no, I should have watched the video, because there was like videos explaining all this stuff, because I would have been able to like gather my points together. So don't.
No, the main thing that's interesting is what's the name? Jack Ruby. Like they hid like his ethnicity for like so long. Like how far do you go back with like the whole JFK thing? Like, because you kind of have like a whole history with it, right?
You're talking about my interest in the conspiracy. Okay, so this is fucked up, because you would have thought I would have been watching hella videos about this recently, but I was waiting for more shit to come out. So I am going to watch the Candace Owens thing. Maybe we could make a whole episode dedicated to the JFK thing. Maybe. I don't know if you're down for that. But I've been in this fucking JFK shit for a minute, right? Because when I was younger, I used to watch the History Channel. Now, the History Channel, if you're off the goop like me, you probably want to get it ready. The censored thing. History Channel is a psyop, right? It's a big fucking psyop, right? But they do leave nuggets of truth, right? Because I did see documentaries about the Jewish mob, and basically how the Jewish mob has always worked with the Italian mob, right? Oh, yeah. And not really. The Sopranos is The Sopranos is also another psyop.
I know that.
The Sopranos is a fucking psyop. So I mean, it's a good show, right? But no, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna get off the mob shit, but no, yeah.
Are you scared?
No.
You're gonna have a little sit down with a Michael Franzese?
No. I'm not. No, I don't care about that. It's just I don't know enough about the mob shit to really comment on it, but I do know that JFK did make comments about the CIA and how he was trying to take them down. But no, this is like documented shit. This is documented shit that JFK was trying to take out the CIA.
The problem is that they, like the History Channel, that they try to blame like the hatred for JFK as more like McCarthyism, from what I understand. They have to blame it all on like oh, it's like a Red Scare thing. They didn't want the commies.
Yeah, because there was a movie that I watched when I was a kid. I don't know why the fuck I was watching all this shit as a kid. I've been involved in like conspiracies and Freemasonry since I was young as fuck. Actually, I should make a video about that in the future. But yeah, there was this movie called Killing Kennedy, and it's funny because I'm gonna go off the goop with this one. So basically, they try to make Lee Harvey Oswald to be like this like crazy commie nut. That had went to Cuba. I don't know whether he really went to Cuba or not, because this movie is a mainstream movie. I think it's on fucking Hulu too. And I'm sitting there as a kid and I'm thinking, I'm like, well, okay, well, I understand being passionate about politics and stuff like that, right? You know, obviously Lee Harvey Oswald might have been a communist sympathizer because I guess he felt bad for the Cubans or whatever, and they were basically trying to make it seem like, yeah, he felt bad for the Cubans, and and he was going crazy, so he wanted to kill JFK because he felt that they shouldn't have been killing Cubans or messing with the Cubans or whatever. Yeah. And I'm sitting there as a kid, and I'm thinking, I'm like, well, yeah, that's kind of fucked up, but it's like, why would he go as far as to kill the fucking president?
Well, there's something interesting that's been brought up is that I don't think even the most like, because I feel like people were more patriotic back in the day too. So I think even killing a president would have been too far, but for like the like a citizen to do.
Yeah.
I don't. It's one of those things that like I don't think it entered like the. You know how like in different cultures there's things that are more common, than other things, so they're more prevalent. I don't think in the American brain, I don't think the idea of killing a president would have ever crossed anyone's mind unless they were like MK Ultra.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, because I want to read this book. You know what? I might just drop off your book I'm reading just to get a better knowledge of the CIA. But Candace Owens actually talks about this book, Chaos by Tom O'Neill. He was interviewed by Joe Rogan, basically trying to expose like all these methods that the CIA would use to interrogate people and to manipulate people. They experimented with drugs. I'm not talking about weed. I'm talking about like psychedelic drugs, manipulation, psychological manipulation. Obviously, they learned about this shit through Sigmund Freud, and other ancient black magic rituals, like from the Egyptians or the Greeks. Like basically, like traumatizing children, right? Kind of like, okay, you're gonna have to get the censored bar ready. Yeah, you might have to you might even have to cut this out of the video. Kind of like how, like boomers and even people our age, how we're kind of like, get ready. Since we've been young, we've been manipulated and traumatized to like hate Nazis, basically, and this is like a ritual that's, from what I understand, has been around since ancient times, where you when you manipulate a child, right, and you give them what is it, trauma, right? You make them comply, right? So if you, okay, you probably have to cut this out of the video. If you like rape a child when they're young, because they're so traumatized by that, and you put them back in that fucking zone where they're being raped or whatever, that they just listen to whatever you say. They're under hypnosis, right? Because Carl Jung, I think even Sigmund Freud was able to hypnotize people without drugs, right? You can hypnotize people with drugs too, obviously, because the drugs that were being given to some of these people, like the hippies, were from the CIA. Just they were trying to manipulate them. Like, look at the way boomers react to like Nick Fuentes, right? Yeah. Because they white supremacists, neo-Nazi, they get like they get into like this mode where they're like, we hate Nazis, we hate Nazis, we hate Nazis, and they can't think beyond that, right? Like when you hear about the bombing of Dresden, you know what the bombing of Dresden is? No. Basically, when the Americans and the British just fucking bombed the shit out of some German village just out of spite. No reason other than out of spite. Kurt Vonnegut wrote the book Slaughter 7 based off of him having to clean up all those dead fucking bodies, and the Germans made him do it too. He was an American POW, and basically, yeah. So the CIA, yeah, they've always been a problem. That's why, like, okay, I don't believe in like black apologetics, but I do believe that the CIA gave the hood drugs and shit. So I do give some. That's why I'm not like. I mean, I'm pretty conservative, but I'm not like staunchly like anti-black or anything like that, because I do believe that the CIA, that because they have such knowledge about drugs and psychological manipulation, that they would do that to the black community. That's why I do give the black community some like sympathy.
Yeah, it's funny because there was this one teacher I had, and I tried telling him, or tried to bring him like the idea of them putting drugs in the black community, but he was like, even though it kind of does like
it sounds out there, right?
It sounds like because there's so many other things that like black people say to make themselves feel better, for like a better saying, that it wouldn't be out of the picture, and it does kind of, I don't know, it does kind of make sense. But he was like, no, it didn't, and he's like a liberal, so I was kind of like, come on, like you can't even like think about that. But also it's because they haven't really acknowledged it. They acknowledge like slavery and Jim Crow and everything, but they haven't acknowledged that.
Well, I don't think Jim Crow was as bad as people make it out to be. That's where like I guess I diverge from most like black apologists, because I do think the CIA thing was real. I think that's 100% real. But again, because I think the CIA is capable of like horrible shit because they've done it. Yeah. I mean, look at John Cusack, John something. So he was interviewed by this guy, random as fuck. This one guy called After Prison Show, right? He basically After Prison Show just made videos like talking about like prisoners and stuff like that, or talking about look up After Prison Show CIA. Just look up After Prison Show CIA. And it's funny because I don't know why the fuck I even watched that interview. Like, that wasn't a topic that I was interested at that time. That's because I wanted to fit in with all my minority friends. That one right there.
And sure enough, two guys walk right into my cell. One has an enormous swastika tattooed on his neck. It takes up the entire front half of his neck. And the other guy has FU tattooed on his eyelids. I figured they were here to...
Okay, so you can pause it real quick. That whole video is just about like prison culture, right? So he obviously, you could look at him. He doesn't look like the type of guy that'd be involved in crime, right? But he exposed like the waterboarding and shit and the torture methods that the CIA was doing. And it's funny because the Nation of Islam, when he was in prison, they showed him a lot of love because he stood up for the Muslim people, because there's a lot of innocent Muslims that weren't doing shit, and the CIA was just torturing them for the fuck of it and trying to get them to admit crimes that they didn't do, because this is something that the police have done. This is why I'm not Blue Lives Matter either. I'm not Blue Lives Matter because this, like, you have to understand that like psychological manipulation is something that the CIA and the police have studied. Like when you go off the goop and really study like black magic and esoteric occult stuff, like me, then you start looking at the CIA and the police and people in power. Then you start really fucking hating them even more, because they do this shit to manipulate people. If I told a boomer, maybe it wasn't 6 million, maybe it was more like 200,000 right away. And you know what? Even if you like Jewish people, right? And you say, man, I don't think it was 6 million, right? Their fucking brain, because they've been manipulated as children, they're just like, they go into that mode. What do you mean? You're a fucking Nazi. You hate America. My grandfather fought for World War II or whatever.
You know what's a funnier one that's on like a smaller scale? The flat Earth thing. Like, if you bring up the idea that the Earth might be flat to them, they just start losing their mind. Like, you have ever like debated flat Earth with someone? So I used to do this a lot. I mean, I still use it sometimes, but like in high school, especially in science class, I would debate flat Earth and just say like, well, like, you haven't went have you went to space? Have you seen the planet like outside of the oh, no, I was on a plane. Oh yeah, no, of course you're like, it curves because you're like outside. Like, if you go outside of anything, you're gonna see like a little curve. Like, I see a little curve when I'm like going on the street or something. I would mostly like just like take the shit out of them, because to me it's like the flat Earth thing is like the number one thing of like, oh, I trust like everything I'm told type shit. And it's but it's also like the fact that you're getting like defensive over
it's like, why? But that's the fucking thing. Why are you so defensive? Like, I don't care if Earth is flat or not. I really don't give a shit about space. I mean, I do think space exploration is interesting, but when people say space is fake, I'm not like, well, it could be, because what the fuck else have they not lied about? Like, there's like, it's like when you bring up like the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, right? There's people, they will fucking eat you alive if you talk about their favorite fucking celebrity, because their celebrity has already fucking manipulated them through psychological manipulation into having the parasocial relationship with that person. Do you really think we love Kanye, right? Does Kanye really give a fuck about us?
No.
But you would get fucking heated if somebody said fuck Kanye West, right? Yeah. Because you've been manipulated by Kanye West. That's what it is. But see, that's just Kanye. But Kanye's kind of on our side, right? So we kind of have to defend him, right? Because he's the only one that's on our fucking side. But if you say, Hillary Clinton is a soul cooker, right? She eats fucking baby blood, right? Yeah. People will be like, I wish you could record it. Well, they're like, they make like this face with like, how could you say that about her? She was Bill Clinton's wife. You know, she's cool with the Obamas, because they've already psychologically manipulated you, because they're so like, what's the word? Because of the tone of voice that they use, the emotional depth that they use in their voice when they talk about the African American community and everything they have to go through, and these fucking white people, they won't let them succeed. They don't let them succeed, right? And they fucking manipulate you like that. It's like when it's like when Kennedy, one of his grandsons, was speaking fucking Spanish. All these dumbass. Oh yeah, I really like that guy. Oh, ese güey sí sabe español. A ese güey me gusta. You gotta play the Taco Bell. A mí me gusta el Kennedy. You know what I mean? Because no, I think the way he's talking, like the tone of his voice. Oh well, we have to really look out for our Hispanic community, because, you know, and then they talk with such like with such a feminine pitch too. And I've always had this fucking issue with like a lot of like, these guys on the left, where they talk like this, and they speak in a tone of voice that makes you feel calm, makes you feel loved, and, you know, I just want everybody to be happy. Our African American community, our Hispanic community, our LGBT women, we don't want them to feel. We don't want them to feel out of place in America, because America was made by immigrants.
Stop the cap.
Yeah, really. I mean, it kind of was made by immigrants, but still.
Stop the cap.
You know what I mean? But they say that, and people get manipulated by that. So when you say Michelle Obama was a fucking man, you say she was a fucking man, their brains get like, what? She was an iCarly. She was on The View. What the fuck do you mean she's a man? What do you mean she's spirit cooks? What do you mean? Because they've been manipulated.
Is that dick good? Yes, kid.
That's Obama. How good is that dick?
Oh, how good is that dick?
That's Obama and Big Mike. But yeah, people are psychologically manipulated. It's kind of like when you say Tupac was a fucking faggot. Hey, man, what you mean, bro? What you mean, bro? Why you talking crazy for, man? That nigga wasn't gay, man. That nigga was sucking cock.
I don't know about that, but I'll have proof about that, but I'm not gonna. There's some.
What did you think about the JFK files? I mean, I've been involved in it since I was a kid, because I used to watch History Channel. And History Channel conspiracy theories are all psyops. And also I played Black Ops 2, where Black Ops 2, at the end of the game, they allude to there being a second shooter.
Well, it's because I was I don't know, I didn't really care about it necessarily before. I just thought like, oh, this guy got shot, and it's like a very important thing in society. But I didn't, I didn't really care much about like the who did it thing until I kind of
went off the goop
when I saw the Israel connection. But I was more like reading into these things. I'm more so. The main thing I got out of it was that I feel like, because I've known the Jewish mob has existed, but in my head I always thought they're like not as big as the Italian mob or the Irish mob or anything like that in America. But from what I'm hearing about them now, I think what happened or how they were able to differentiate themselves is two things. They went to Hollywood and they made all of the crime mob movies Italian focused. And they would even like have like Jews like play Italians in the movie and everything. So they made like, cause you're talking about like brain control and all this stuff. They made the subconscious think that all the criminals that used to exist in the underworld were
Irish or Italian.
Yeah.
Because that was the thing before the 90s. We thought that gangsters were Irish or Italian, and then they became black and Hispanic.
So they kind of keep the crime kind of focused on them. And obviously it's not like they pretended like the Jewish mob didn't exist, but I didn't realize how like far or how big it was. But also what I think they did is they kept their ties to like Israel, I guess, and so they're able to stay above like cause compared to like Mossad and everything, like the La Cosa Nostra is like petty crime kind of.
No, yeah.
So it's kind of
it's like white collar crime at this point.
Like it's like, yeah, they make they make better movies maybe, but it's like maybe if you heard about what like Mossad does on a daily basis, you'll be like, and they are kind of trying to because obviously we see. Like, I remember when I told you in Penguin, the Penguin show, they named Mossad in the show and everything. So they do get those little crumbs, but it's kind of still like it's like, oh, you're still watching, like you're watching a show about like a fake Italian mob.
And then another thing is like when they bring up like Israeli ties or like Mossad or anything like that, they try to like, how do I say?
They tie more to Israel, not to like.
Yeah, but not just that they tie it to Israel, but they like. I think Nick Fuentes mentioned this before, or Myron Gaines, where basically it's like you could now I think you could platform people like that, but you have to denounce them.
Yeah.
So Adam 22 can have, because he did a recent show with Myron. He can, excuse me. I'm consuming Corona Extra right now. You could platform. I think now these people are gonna start being platformed now, but they're just gonna try to denounce them in every which way that they can, because they can psychologically manipulate people.
Well, yeah, I think the only because the what's it called, like the venue, not the venue, but the floodgates have become more open to the people that they can have on and everything, but I don't know, they seem like with Candace Owens, like I don't know, I think it might be because she doesn't have like obviously she probably has a bigger fan base now than when she was at Daily Wire, but it seems like she's just gonna be the person who goes and looks into like crazy stuff, so she's gonna pander to like this section of conservative, because her people she used to pander to used to be like blacks who are like they just got off the plantation. This is the term they used to use, by the way. Like blacks are just who, or like other like neocons who need like affirmations from black people. From black people. But now it's kind of like she's kind of going into like the people who like hearing, like it's just InfoWars at this point, like, and it's like saying conspiracy, because you can be wrong. You can like if you acknowledge that what you're saying can be wrong, and that you have to do your own research, then like that's all you're gonna be.
Yeah, there's deniable plausibility basically, and she has said some dumbass shit in the past before, like the dinosaurs thing. She said like dinosaurs are fake and gay, like.
But maybe I think what she's doing is
people like anti-prophet. They'll be stuck on that.
Dude, fuck that guy, dude. Fuck that guy. Just piece of shit.
I fucking hate that guy. I used to like him at first, but I fucking hate his ass because like he's just like such a fucking fence sitter.
So yeah, so if you guys don't know this anti-prophet guy, I think he came around during like the red pill wave, the Andrew Tate wave, and he was basically being like an Andrew Tate fresh and fit dick rider. For like the past 4 years, and then I don't know, like once Trump got elected, even kind of before that, I think the first thing he started really going after was like Nick Fuentes, because I think he saw Nick Fuentes for the first time. He's like, I don't understand, because I think it was a clip of like Nick saying like he wants a Christian theocracy, and he was like, this guy is anti-American, because how can you be in America and want this? And then
he doesn't even live in America, and he's talking about America.
He's talking about like American problems and everything. Like he has like where does he live?
Not Bolivia. So he lives in some like island with like Asian people.
Okay, so he lives in a place that he lives at to like dodge taxes.
Something with a B.
So yeah, so he lives somewhere to like dodge like taxes or whatever. Cause I kind of assume he is American or something like that.
Yeah, he was Guatemalan, maybe born in the USA. I'm not sure. And he was adopted by like a white family.
Yeah, so he's probably dodging taxes or something like that. So he found like. I think he like drank the juice.
He's from Bali.
I think he drank the juice, but then he realized that being in this group of people isn't. Sneeko did the same thing, by the way. He went like, okay, maybe being surrounded by all these people isn't the best look, so I want to branch out. But he didn't like. Sneeko didn't like cut everyone off totally. This guy did. He was like, no, what? I'm not gonna talk about these guys because it doesn't sound like the algorithm's gonna. But he sounds like this guy that's like he's made by the algorithm. And because I don't want to shit on
his videos when they first came out, they were high production.
Like I don't want to be that guy that just shits on people who like suddenly have like a change of faith, or like change their opinions. Because obviously it's like we're all people, we all change opinions, where it's natural for us to change opinions.
Yeah, because I was staunchly anti-Protestant for a while. I was also staunchly anti-Catholic for a while too. But now I'm kind of just like, yeah, I think they're all valid, as long as they don't have women priests.
Okay, but but there's like a, when you do like a heel turn like that, it just seems like what are you trying? Are you trying not to get, or like what are you trying to do if you're trying to do like a heel turn like that wide and switch to being like, oh, like this person's bad, this person, like, let's see what he's been doing recently. And also he's on YouTube, so it's like, yeah, it's the number one psyop. Oh my god, how do I spell anti-profit? Anti-profit. Christianity has become a joke.
Do me a favor and watch this video.
I believe in the non-binary God whose pronouns are plural.
We don't need to watch that.
But it's like, here's the thing. If you're a Christian, you already know that that's bullshit.
Oh, he has like I don't know. He has like. Oh, did you watch any of these essays he did?
Not recently.
Did you know that he did? I only think he did.
No, I know. He actually, okay. Some of his content, he does talk about like dating stuff. It is pretty good. Like his dating channel, I forgot what it's called. It's pretty good. He has some good content, but I mean, I don't know. Look at him.
Following video I'm about to show you is of a liberal saying some of the most heinous I've ever heard about what should be done to women who voted for Donald Trump. Take a look.
I would like to see all Republican women or any woman who voted for Republicans or Trump to be ganged on national television. I think that would be very cathartic.
Now, I know after watching that video, your blood is probably boiling. But the questions that I want you to answer for yourself are these. Number one, why is an account like Libs of TikTok hosting content like this? Is it because they genuinely care about showing...
Oh my, he's concerned trolling. Like, so if he's...
No, play the whole video.
Is it because they genuinely care about showing conservative America the degradation of the left so that conservatives can feel even better about themselves and make America great again? Or is it because they understand that by showing crazy like this from mentally deranged people online, they can make more money, they can get more of your attention, and leverage both of those things for even more power in the real world, because real political...
No, but you gotta think about like how he's phrasing it and how... something wild the guy said. Like the way how he's phrasing it and his whole turn is that, like, yes, he's right. Like I don't like Libs of TikTok either, but
why don't you like Libs of TikTok?
Yeah, because the ethnic origin of the country, of the people that she's from.
Oh, okay.
And she also does, like, she has like that selective outrage where she'll attack some groups of people but not others and all that stuff. And but
I think Destiny and Hassan Piker are the best like apologists for liberalism.
But yeah, no,
over the last couple of weeks, Tesla's stocks have fallen by over 50% because I've been saying for a couple of months now that designer babies are going to be a reality within the next 5 years. But honestly, I think they're going to be a reality as of 2025. This new company, I really don't know how anyone thinks that Lex Friedman is not a paid Kremlin shill at this point. Like, just last, I don't know how much farther Tucker Carlson can fall.
This guy's a fucking a masterclass spellcaster, because he like he'll say something so true and then like just go off the goop about like some other shit. Yeah, his whole existence is just trying to like just grift everybody.
And then he'll start like talking about stuff that like really has anything to do in the last 10 seconds of the video.
Like, this is what he'll do. He'll do this, right? He'll make a video about like Ben Shapiro being like an Israeli psyop or something like that, and then be like, "Well, that doesn't mean Nick Fuentes is any better either."
Yeah, and then no, not this guy. There's this other guy. I think you know who I'm talking about. Oh my God, what's his name? His name is like Moon or something like that. He Moon. Yeah, this guy. So
I've seen his videos before.
This guy makes like bottom barrel like content video, just being like, oh, like what he's
like Fight Club tried to warn.
Yeah, and like he's saying like these like we know them, but like I think you told me before, you were like, no, he's actually good because there's some people that they need to have it like dumbed down to them, really dumbed down to them and watered down. The fact that like society is being destroyed.
I mean, I think there is some truth to that though, because if you show somebody like a Nick Fuentes clip, they're just gonna like lose their shit.
But I forgot when I think I watched this guy like.
Hell, there's people that see a Tucker Carlson clip and they lose their shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's just because you're so like, or me too, for that fact. What the fuck is that, John Zerko?
When influencers mess with real criminals.
Oh, that looks like Zerka though.
Yeah, it is.
What the fuck? I don't know why they would put him on there, but yeah, because we're so deep in the sauce that we forget how normies think.
Yeah, like they need something like this thumbnail being like, America has become stupid to I don't know, like understand anything, but I don't know,
I think, like I said, we're just so deep in the sauce that we forget.
I forgot like he's done so many videos, but these videos are like literally like they feel like they're like spammed out. Like the thing with YouTube now is that you can make like highly edited stuff and just like spam it out, and it makes it look like that because something is highly edited, then that it has some sort of like potential, or not potential, it has some sort of status as being highly produced or as meaningful. Cause remember back in the day we used to see like most YouTube videos used to be like pictures, moving pictures, or in the webcam or video games. So then when you saw like like an edited video and everything was like in 60 frames per second, you'd watch and you'll be like, bro, this is crazy. Look, it's 1984 trying to warn you.
I think his most famous video was Fight Club tried to warn you.
Oh, I think that's the video. Yeah. I wonder if I'm gonna show you why I was
Blade Runner.
I was like shook by like what he said. I'm not shook by what he said, but I saw and I was like, yeah, okay, so this is it.
Men love Fight Club. Most more interesting alternative option is with rare art. The art market is valued at 1.7 to 30% of their overall portfolio to art. This is because art as an investment gives solid rates of appreciation with lower volatility falls. When men turn into repressed, placid, apathetic consumers with no virtue or values, with no masculinity, when these men are no longer embraced by the society, they will burn down that society to feel its warmth. Now here's a quick word from today's sponsor. Burn down that and benefits from that system to tear it down because same. We self-hate our own and our me first generation.
I don't know he did a video. I don't know if it was that one.
Imagine if you lived in a world where you were...
I remember sending it to you before, but he so at the end of the video he said like, oh, this is why you should support Ukraine because Ukraine is masculine, and they showed a video of this is back when people were liking Zelensky and all that, like even conservatives were pro Zelensky. Like they would have these clips being like, oh, this is why we need to support whatever because it means because they're a symbol of masculinity. And I was like, whoa, like what's going on over here? Like why do that's a long way to say like talking about like subtle like spell casting because it's like they got this highly edited video and then this one like, oh well, this is great, the thing's in like 60 frames per second, all the pictures are moving fast, it looks visually appealing, and then at the end he's like, this is why you need to support what's it called?
I think there was a lot of conservatives that were pro Zelensky.
Yeah, I know you were.
Well, yeah, because they saw him as like a guy. They saw him as a man defending his fucking country. But now we know that he's you know.
Well, I knew it right away. I was like, "There's something wrong."
Because you're deep in the sauce.
But my problem was I regret being like so pro Putin. It's because I don't want to closely align myself with any country. That's why when people ask me all these things, I just said, I just support what's good for America, not what America's supporting necessarily, but what's good for America. That's like really what I say at the end of the day.
They probably think you're
pro-Israel. I'm like, yeah, but they you're probably pro-Israel, right? And like, no, but it's a long story as to why I'm not whatever pro-Ukraine, pro-Israel, whatever you want to call it. I'm not just going to support.
And it's so funny when you try to explain to them like deep, I don't say deep theology, but like when you try to explain them shit like that. Like if you tell someone you're pro-Palestine, they think you're like like a liberal, like you drink lattes and shit.
I feel like at this point being like pro-Pal, I'm saying pro-Pal, being pro-Palestine or being pro-Israel, it's like when people say
Bloods or Crips.
No, with the abortion thing, like oh, you're anti-abortion, and then but in reality, like I'm pretty sure you're the same way. You're like, no, I'm not really. Oh no, pro-life. Mm-hmm. Like they have us embrace the pro-life label, and then they say like, oh, don't you think this criminal shouldn't be have the death penalty? But in reality, well, we are more anti-abortion, not really
pro-life.
But they force that label onto us. But in reality,
because there's nuance to it. That's why.
Yeah. So the one thing I really stick is that I'm just like, oh, I'm anti-American interventionalist, or I'm America first. You know. Mm-hmm. Well, now the problem is when you say America first, now they're like, oh, well, you think you're a raper, and I'm like, well, America first has been around for like a long time, so it's like. But I'm talking about the idea, putting America first. Obviously, I don't know you know this, but just, anti-America intervention. That's it.
Well, I mean, I think conservatives hate that idea the most. Because liberals just want like illegal aliens and Muslims to come over.
They hate the idea of anti-intervention.
No, I think conservatives hate the idea of anti-intervention because they love Israel.
Yeah, you're right. Both sides do not like the idea of anti-intervention because they still think that we should help other countries.
Because I know a lot of Democrats support Ukraine, but what's a Democrat? Why are they so staunchly pro-Ukraine?
Because Ukraine is like, you know how like in Israel is like surrounded by the Middle East.
Yeah.
And so that's the one place that they've invested in. So that's why America supports them. It's the same thing. They're surrounded by enemies, quote unquote. Even though we know, Russia and Ukraine is not really that different, but they consider the place that they're at being surrounded by enemies. So that's why they support them. But the thing is
really funny, like real quick, you ever remember the guy Crazy Russian Hacker? He's reviewed like MRE and different like gadgets and gizmos. He did like top 10 videos and stuff like that. He did like real like low hanging fruit type of content back in the day. I remember he said a video where he's like I'm not really Russian, I'm Ukrainian, but I grew up Russian. I don't know, I just feel like throwing that.
I thought you were talking about FPS Russia. You know that guy?
No.
He made he made like gun videos back in the day, but then he was gone for a while, and people were like, "Oh, where'd he go?" And then he's like a host on this podcast, and he's like totally faked his accent the whole entire time, and people were like, "Oh, like you didn't know you faked it," but they said I think he went to like prison or whatever for like firearm ownership or like lying or something like that, some weird stuff like that. Anyway, this has been a long pod. Do you have any closing statements?
I don't know how to end this, dude, because it's like we went from talking about George Janko debating.
Is that dick good? Yes, kid.
How good is that?